Good evening, YouTube. Welcome back to the channel. This is IMAX Sports with another football video, and today I'm going over my NFL power rankings for Week 10 of the 2022 NFL season. I do this video on the channel every single week, so if you enjoy it, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I will try and get out a playoff predictions video this week, and maybe something else, maybe like an MVP candidate video. I've been extremely busy the last 3 or 4 weeks, and I've been really trying to get a third video out every week, but I just haven't been able to do it, so sorry for that, but I really do want to start trying to get 3 or maybe 4 videos out every week instead of just the normal 2. So let's get right into it. First off, starting us off, we have, once again, the dumpster fire. We have the Steelers and the Texans. The Steelers have been downgraded back to the dumpster fire this week. After a couple-week hiatus out of it, they did beat Tampa, which brought them out of it, and then teams have slowly passed them since then as they've come back into it. I know they didn't play this week, but a lot of other teams have just simply passed them, and their game last week against the Eagles was pretty bad. Next, we have horrible. These two teams are horrible. We have the Packers and we have the Colts. I thought it was a little drastic putting the Packers at 30, but I really didn't know what to do. I honestly couldn't put them. It was the Lions. They were playing the Detroit Lions. It was a divisional game. It was a game that I think that at this point in the season, a lot of people were honestly expecting them to lose. But it's a game that the Green Bay Packers should never lose if they're the same team that they've always been, which means that they're not. And right now, their offense is horrendous. Their defense is consistent, but it's not doing enough. And they're on a 5-game losing streak. They've won 3 games. They've lost 6. 5 of them have been in a row. And I really can't see the Packers being any higher than 28 or 27. We have the Colts at 29. The Colts got demolished by the Patriots today. Sam Ehlinger does not look great. He looked okay, to be fair. And he had so much pressure on him. The offensive line really destroyed the Colts in that game. Sam had no time to throw the ball. He had no time to do anything. He looked pretty solid last week. I think that there is some potential on the Colts with Sam Ehlinger, but they're just so injured. Jonathan Taylor has been injured all year. The offensive line has looked horrendous. The defense is honestly fairly consistent. They gave a lot of resistance to the Patriots offense. The Patriots really couldn't get a whole lot going unless their defense got it going for them. The only touchdowns we scored were a touchdown drive that started on the 2 and an interception return for a touchdown. So that tells you how the Patriots offense worked today. But both of these teams are riding on their defense, and their defense is not winning them games, and that's a really big problem if their offense can't change anything. At 28, we have the Panthers. At 27, we have the Raiders. And at 26, we have the Lions. Most of these teams have the exact opposite problem as the previous 2, except for the Panthers. The Panthers are at 28. They did have a little bit of a bump after beating Tampa, and then we realized Tampa really isn't that great. And then moving on, they've slowly come back down this week. Last week was a pretty solid game against the Falcons, but their defense ended up giving it away. And then this week they ended up losing heartbreaker to the Bengals. It was just a demolition. They got destroyed 42-20 something. Most of their points were garbage time points. Baker Mayfield did look good, but you never know if that's him looking good or if that's the Bengals not caring at all and giving up because they've already won 2.5 quarters into the game. I really can't tell. It was kind of hard to tell in that one. But Baker Mayfield did look okay. He'll probably start next week, and hopefully Chuba Hubbard and Donta Foreman are both healthy, and that defense can try and step it up a little bit, because they have been inconsistently good, the Panthers' defense. The Raiders are at 27. The Raiders have been hovering in the 20s for most of the season. This week was an especially bad loss because the Jaguars were on a fire. The Raiders have broken that losing streak, and the Jaguars have now gotten a win. So they now have 3 wins on the season. The Raiders have 2. And even when Derek Carr had arguably his best game of the season, they still can't win. Their defense isn't great, and their offense is not consistent. Devontae Adams can go off, but their offense really is not consistent. Josh Jacobs needs to have 150 yards and 2 touchdowns for them to win games, and it's just not a consistent way to win. The Lions are at 26. I really have wanted to put them higher than this, but they've had a lot of injuries. Amon-Ra St. Brown, DeAndre Swift, James Williams has been in and out. Josh Reynolds has been in and out. Their whole team's been in and out. They lost TJ Hawkinson. Jared Goff has had a nagging problem, I believe. And their defense has been bad. This week, they were able to get the win over the Packers. Their defense played well. They got 3 interceptions on Aaron Rodgers. They look like they could be turning it around, but I need to see them play another strong game instead of beating up. Moving on, we have the Broncos at 25. We have the Rams at 24 in the sad category. Both of these teams are extremely sad. Their offenses are really sad, and their defenses are very good, which makes them sad. They're sad to watch. They can't enjoy their games. They're just sad. The Broncos defense arguably is one of the best defenses in the league, and the Rams defense has been pretty consistent this year. They have a lot of strong defensive players. They have Aaron Donald, they have Bobby Wagner, they have Jalen Ramsey. There have been some games where the Rams have faltered, but the Broncos have been one of the best defenses in the league. If either of these offenses can figure anything out, then they'll be good to go. But the Broncos are looking like they're starting to turn some gears. Matthew Stafford really is not starting to turn some gears. The only one turning any gears is Cooper Kupp. And both of these teams are just sad. At 23, we have the Cleveland Browns. At 22, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars. And at 21, we have the Chicago Bears. The Browns have been a pretty inconsistent football team this year. They started off okay. They had a big, bad losing streak, and then they beat the Bengals last week. No idea what to think about them right now. Once Deshaun Watson comes back, they could legitimately be a contender. Maybe not for the playoffs, but they could be a contender caliber team. I think that they're too far gone. They have too many losses to seriously make the playoffs, but they could be a strong caliber team. The Jaguars have had a lot of really solid games and a lot of really bad games. This week, their win over the Raiders was a pretty solid one. They got down big early, but they were able to come back. They were able to have a very consistent second half, and they were able to win the game. As for the Bears, their offense has looked phenomenal the last 3 weeks. I mean phenomenal. They matched up well against the Patriots, but I thought that was a fluke game. I thought that it was just because Bill Belichick can't scheme against running quarterbacks. And then they put up 29 on that Dallas defense, that taunted Dallas defense that's been so consistent this season. And then they put up 32 against Miami and almost beat the Dolphins. I mean, the Bears have been one of the most consistent teams in the league the last 3 weeks. Their offense has been very good, and their defense has been not great, but their defense has historically been good. And I think that when they're not playing Miami and they're not playing Dallas, their defense is going to be really strong. And I think that the Bears have a lot of potential to be a very strong football team. At number 20, we have the Falcons. At number 19, we have the Cardinals. At number 18, we have the Buccaneers. Cardinals and Falcons, I've been rooting for them all year. I think that both of these teams have a lot of potential. I think that the addition of Cordell Patterson onto the Falcons, I thought it was going to be a bigger addition, but wasn't as big as I thought it was going to. Well, obviously, Cordell Patterson had a great game. He had a phenomenal game. But it didn't make the difference in the game. The Chargers were still able to hold the victory. And the defense and the consistency on defense and the consistency on offense just needs to be a little bit higher. They can make any game close. Any game they can play against any team can be close. But finding that next level to win can sometimes be difficult for the Falcons. That's why they're at number 20. At number 19, we have the Cardinals, and again, this is a similar situation. The Cardinals can put up 50, they can put up 0. They can let 50 points up on defense, they can have a defense shutout. The Cardinals are one of the most wildly inconsistent teams in the league, but the Cardinals and the Falcons are two of the most fun teams in the league to watch, in my opinion. On the other side of this coin, the Buccaneers are one of the least fun teams to watch this year. I think that Tom Brady has had a below average season for him. It's pretty clear. But he's not turning the ball over. And a lot of his other players on offense are not playing well to assist him on offense. I think that the Buccaneers have a lot of I don't even know the word. They just got to get back together. Their offense needs to get back together, needs to mold better. Julio Jones is becoming more and more integrated into the offense, which I think is going to be a big aspect of the team as they go forward, and that defense is continuing to be consistent. I need to see some more strong games by the offense before I put them any higher than 18. I'm probably going to continue to pick the Buccaneers in games because I don't pick against Brady in single games, but in the power rankings, I need to see more from their offense, more consistency from their offense before I can put them any higher than number 18. At 17, we have Washington. At 16, we have the Saints. At 15, we have the Patriots. And at 14, we have the Chargers. These teams are definitionally mid. The Chargers are rounding out this category at 14. They surprised me this week, beating the Falcons. I actually thought the Falcons were going to win this game. I thought that with Cordell Patterson back, they would be the favorites. The Chargers were able to secure the victory, though. And the Falcons were looking strong at a lot of points in the game, but it was a big back and forth, and the Chargers did pull it out, missing their top two wide receivers, Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. The injuries to the Chargers have been a big factor in some of their uneven success this year, but their team really hasn't looked extremely impressive. And although they are 5-3, they don't necessarily look like a 5-3 team right now. The Patriots are at 15. The Patriots are currently 5-4. They've won 4 of their last 5 games. 4 of their last 5 games, including a loss to the Bears. But the other ones have been pretty consistent. A lot of very strong defensive play, backed up by not turning the ball over. The biggest issue in the Bears game was there was a lot of turnovers. Most of the time that the Patriots lose is because we lose the turnover differential. I believe that Mac Jones is almost undefeated when the Patriots win the turnover differential. So the Patriots basically, their whole season relies on, do we have more turnovers or do we not? And if we don't, then we win, and if we do, then we lose. That's kind of a scary thing to think about, because you just could have a bad game where the quarterback can't get a lot going, you turn it over, and the defense can't make a whole lot out of it, and then you just get demolished like the Bears game. So the Patriots defense is easily a top 5 defense in the league, arguably top 3. We got 9 sacks this week. Matthew Judon is looking to get Defensive Player of the Year. Even when he's not on the field, he's a menace. He's just terrorizing everyone. And the offense, I really need to see more from Mac Jones. I want to believe in him, but I honestly kind of want Bailey Zappi, but we'll see. Saints are at 16. They didn't play this week, but they moved up a couple spots because other teams moved down. And Washington is at 17. Moving on, these aren't top 10 teams, but they're all kind of our top 10 teams. I want all of these teams in the top 10, but they can't all be in the top 10, so it's kind of hard. We got the Ravens at 13, we got the 49ers at 12, we got the Titans at 11, we got the Jets at 10, and we got the Bengals at 9. Ravens have not played yet this week, but even if they lose to the Saints, they'll probably still be in a similar situation. The 49ers are at 12. They also have not played yet this week, or they might be on a bye week. Either way, again, another team where I really want to believe in them. I think that Christian McCaffrey is going to do a lot for their team, but I haven't. And last week they did have a very strong offensive performance with Christian McCaffrey, but the Chiefs game also didn't look great. They're 4-4, they're inconsistent, and I need some more consistency out of the 49ers before they can get into that top 10. The Titans are at 11. They lost to Kansas City this week, but they've been the most consistent team in this category. They've been an extremely consistent football team for the majority of the season after week 2. After their their 1-point loss to the Giants and their blowout against Buffalo, they've looked really consistent, and Derrick Henry is really starting to look like himself. He's averaging over 100 yards a game once again, and he's going for that record of 7 200-yard games in a career. I'm a big Derrick Henry fan. I think that he's going to carry the Titans to the playoffs, and once again, and the Titans, I think, are arguably a top 10 team. Jets are at 10. Bengals are at 9. The Bengals are really killing me with that loss to the Browns last week, but also I'm really happy because I think that gives us a better chance of making the playoffs. But the Bengals' offense is phenomenal. There's so many weapons on that team. Even with Jamar Chase out, they were still able to put 42 points on Washington. Overall, it's just a phenomenal team. Sorry, they weren't playing Washington, but overall, it's a phenomenal. They're playing the Panthers. It's a phenomenal team. but they just need a little more consistency. And the Jets are at 10. They beat Buffalo this week, which was a shock to a lot of people. But the reason why they're not higher is because Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson's existence is holding the Jets back. It's not like Daniel Jones where he just kind of isn't great, but he's also not bad. Zach Wilson's just bad. The reason why they lost to the Patriots last week was because of the interception that was taken back from Mac Jones from the roughing the passer call. But Zach Wilson did throw 3 interceptions in the second half, which did not allow them to get back into the game. And Zach Wilson is a major hindrance to their ability to play football. Serious contenders, we got the Giants at 8, we got the Dolphins at 7, we got the Seahawks at 6, we got the Vikings at 5, and we have the Cowboys at 4. Not much change going on here. Cowboys haven't played. They had a very strong they have a very strong defense, and that gives them the advantage over the rest of these teams who all have strong offenses without that defensive consistency. Vikings are at 5. They're staying at 5. They've been at 5 for a very long time at this point. They won another close game to a mediocre team, which is what they've been doing for a lot of the season. Again, they're very consistent. Their offense is very consistent, and their defense is starting to get more consistent. Seattle won a game against the Cardinals, increasing their winning streak. They're now 6-3. The Seahawks are looking very strong. They're looking like one of the better teams in the league. And again, I just need some more defensive consistency. Miami's at 7. Tua Tagovailoa, however you say his name, is 6-0 when he plays the full game. I think that the Dolphins are arguably a top 3 team in the league. Again, they need defensive consistency. They put up 32 points. The Bears put up 32 points against them. They did win the game, but they need more defensive consistency than that. I know the Patriots also allowed 32 points to the Bears, but the Patriots aren't vying for a top 3 spot. The Patriots are at number 15. If the Dolphins want a top 3 spot, they really need more consistency on defense. And the Giants, their defense has been consistent pretty much. They're at 8 because they lost to Seattle last week, and they haven't played this week. And the spark that Tua's brought to the Dolphins has just been insane. The Dolphins had to be higher than them for this week. And in the NFL's Elite, we have the Eagles at 1, we have the Bills at 2, and we have Kansas City at 3. These 3 teams have been in the same spots for a very long time now, and with Buffalo losing this week to the Jets, they're definitely number 2 now. For a lot of the time, I was debating between the Eagles and Buffalo at number 1, but the Bills are definitely number 2 with that loss to the Jets. There is a strong argument that Buffalo or Kansas City could be better than the Eagles because the Eagles' schedule has been very easy. But again, I really think that the Eagles are cementing themselves as the best team in the league, and being 8-0 undefeated is a very strong case to try and work against, especially if nobody else has more than 2 losses except for the Vikings, who are in the same situation as the Eagles. So, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Peace.